wanted, if I may, just before we speak, to say how much I wanted to extend our condolences and sincere sympathies to the people of Uganda. That double suicide bombing in Kampala yesterday, really shocking. And we send our sympathies, of course, to the victims, but also to echo the Secretary General's own remarks about making sure that we arrest violence and an attack like that, really horrific attack. So our thoughts and sympathies with our Ugandan friends.
On Somalia, what are your main concerns about the situation now, about the election, and then on AMISOM, what should replace or take over from AMISOM?
Well, on Somalia, certainly looking forward to a good discussion. I've already met with James Swan this week, the Special Representative. On the elections, look, slower than we would like to see progress towards the elections, but there is steady progress, and now we want to see that picked up. We would like to see the February target dates met. We respect that there are challenges on the ground. I'll mention in particular that we still hold out a hope that we will see better performance on the representation of women. There's a 30% target, some progress there also, but not enough. So, we're watching it carefully. We think the President, the Prime Minister's cooperation has improved the situation on the ground. We know that in lots of the regions now there are preparations underway. We're watching the security situation during the elections as well. So not missing target, not missing deadlines, keeping on the rails to deliver that democratic mandate that we want to see.
The configuration of AMISOM, or if it's not AMISOM, what's going to replace it? What's your view on that?
Yeah, well, look, really, really critical issue. On AMISOM, we want to see the AU and the UN a view on this come to a common approach, really, to look and see how best to move forward. The new configuration has to be something that everyone works with. We've heard from Somalia that they have concerns. The ultimate objective, I use the term, is to see a handover to the Somali security forces themselves. So we need to keep all views in mind. And Ireland, as an EU member, of course, very conscious that the EU has been a huge support in terms of resources. So a lot of actors involved in this play, a really, really important peacekeeping operation that needs to be reconfigured, but we need all the actors to come to some common approach on this. So we'll wait and see how quickly that can be done. Thanks.
Ambassador, very quick
on Afghanistan later.
If you could say something, it doesn't seem to be that the Security Council is moving or the international community is doing what they need to do in order to ease or to help the Afghani people when it comes to aid or when it comes to acid, frozen, or etc. So where do you think that the Security Council could do more and it's not doing? Thank you.
Well, that's a very big question about a really difficult situation on the ground. Frankly, we met on the 9th of September to discuss Afghanistan, and in our view, since then, not enough that was spoken about has come to pass, and indeed things we feared have come to pass. And I'm speaking in particular about the actions of the Taliban. We have spoken consistently about not basing our views on their words, but on their deeds. And in particular, I'll just say today is day 61 since young women and girls have been in a position to go to school or college. We know there are some areas where they have access to education, but it's limited, it's gender challenged in the way the arrangements have been put in place. Very unhappy not to see further progress on that. We recognize a really shocking humanitarian situation on the ground. What I want to say is that we know there's a de facto authority there. We can't recognize this as a new normal, particularly for women and girls. We've seen horrific attacks, assassinations of women, outrageous attacks on their rights, but also on their survival in many cases. We can't look the other way, and we won't look the other way. So, there's no trade-off when it comes to women's rights. There's no sequencing, in our view, in terms of the overall settlement on Afghanistan. That's a critical issue for us. The humanitarian situation, we recognize that over 90% of the population are now reaching horrific levels of poverty in an environment that is dangerous, and the economy is imploding. The UN is working very hard. I also spoke with Deborah Lyons yesterday. We know the Secretary General made the famous and very important statement that the UN will stay and deliver. We want to see that happening. We want to see it happening also in a political context that respects fundamental human rights, and in particular, I'll emphasize again, the rights of women and girls. Thanks.
Thank you.